Hello and welcome to an INET special report. In this broadcast, the launch of Global News BC1, the first 24-hour news channel headquartered from British Columbia, Canada. We bring you the sights and sounds of BC1's first full day in operation, and a look behind the scenes at what makes this unique channel tick. It was announced in early 2012, and now, more than a year later, British Columbia's first 24-hour regional news channel has launched. Global News BC1 is headquartered from Vancouver and will cover news unique to the province of British Columbia on a 24-hour basis.
NWCN, Northwest News and weather 24 hours a day.
Northwest Cable News. Broadcast out of Seattle and unavailable on most cable systems in British Columbia, it has until recently remained the closest thing to a regional news channel available to BC residents. While regional cable news channels are prevalent across much of the United States, they have remained a relative rarity in Canadian media. CP24, a Toronto-focused news outlet, was Canada's only regional news network until October 2011, when a second Toronto-centric channel launched. For Canadian residents outside of Ontario, however, the only regional news available was on broadcast channels during regular newscasts. That all changed for residents of British Columbia on March 14, 2013, when a new channel was launched. The ball started rolling in January 2012 after Global BC aired a report on their 6 p.m. newscast covering the, at the time, proposed station's announcement. The channel was approved by the CRTC in July of 2012, and the launch date originally scheduled for January 2013. The launch was later delayed until March 14th, when the channel successfully took off. In the weeks leading up to the new channel's launch, advertisements for the network were aired on Global BC and other Shaw media channels, but excitement on television forums on the internet was muted. The new channel, dubbed Global News BC1, is owned by Shaw Media and relies heavily on the 50-plus hours of news programming produced by sister station Global BC each week. At its launch, Global BC1 was available to Shaw's nearly 1 million customers across British Columbia, but it remains to be picked up by any other major television service provider in the region, leading to questions as to what the future availability of this Shaw-owned news channel will actually be. Nevertheless, even with current subscriber numbers, the channel will be available to a large number of homes across British Columbia. The channel broadcasts with on-screen graphics in an L format, similar to Toronto's CP24 and Ireland's RTE News. The graphics on the right-hand side of the screen display community announcements, stock markets, and detailed weather information. The banner along the bottom of the screen displays a news ticker and 3-day weather forecasts for cities across the province. The best news of all, the on-screen graphics are left on the screen during commercial breaks, meaning viewers will stay up to date with the latest news and weather no matter what time they tune in. In terms of programming, BC1 simulcasts all Global BC live newscasts and adds some exclusive new programs such as a 9 a.m. talk show, 7 p.m. newscast, and News Loop aired throughout the afternoon. The launch itself went relatively smoothly, with a few issues including bad audio, incorrect graphics, and XML information making it out to air on the ticker. All minor issues that are expected when it comes to learning new equipment. The launch of Global News BC1 may not be making headlines outside of the province that it will cover, but it is certainly putting British Columbia on the Canadian media map, something that has been dominated by Toronto-centric news for years, and more diversity in the news business is never a bad thing. Global News BC1 can be viewed on Channel 111 on Shaw cable systems across British Columbia and Channel 21 in Vancouver. For INET, this is Christopher, reporting. As I mentioned in my report, Global BC1 simulcasts a lot of programming with Global British Columbia, but it also has a fair amount of unique content as well. Let's take a look now at some of the sights and sounds of Global News BC1's first broadcast day.
Good Good morning and welcome to AMBC. We are really excited to be here and to have a place on television to talk about issues that matter to British Columbians.
Tonight, the Dybel report on the ethnic memo scandal that's already claimed two high-profile members of the Liberal Party, and with clear indications of spending irregularities and a breach of government code of conduct. Top Story goes right to the top to get the Premier's perspective on what went wrong.
The people of British Columbia aren't buying this government trying to change the channel from a scandal.
When you make a mistake, the right thing to do is to own up to it.
Good evening and welcome to Top Story. The Deputy Premier's report is out and there is a lot of ground to cover in the next half hour.
Tonight on the News Hour.
Codes of conduct ignored, misuse of government resources, a damning investigation of Liberal ethics from Deputy Minister John Dybel. A new poll shows the memo scandal is piling on to problems for Christy Clark. BC voters lean further away from the Liberals. And no matter where you live in BC, you're safer than you were a decade ago. A dramatic drop in violent crime.
Live from Global British Columbia, the News Hour with Chris Galis.
Good evening and thank you for joining us.
Canada Border Services raids construction sites looking for work permits. Today, family and friends of those arrested protested. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Premier had a lot to say on Top Story tonight, and we will bring you those highlights throughout the evening. But first, we want to bring you up to date on some of the other top stories across the province.
This area right here. Cool. So we won't sort of see that stuff. We're learning. Let's go sit down. Right hand side.
He's going 11:30 over there. What, just
12:30.
For BC?
You know how the transit police and TransLink were going on about how they can.
Right back there, yeah.
Right, everybody. Yep. That's where I'm looking. I just, because remember yesterday?
Yeah.
We could, I think what we'll do with you, because you'll be the tester, we'll get you to do one with it on and one with it off. Okay.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I'm sure that works.
How hard is it now? Whoa.
Whereabouts in Germany are you?
Oh, cool.
It happened instantly.
Give her 2 minutes.
Anytime anyone recommends a medication.
Staying on top of things to do can be tricky and
Following the attack, there are
color-coded. There is always a pen handy so you're not constantly looking.
Our concerns are around the coal
The development is hoping to build 2 condo towers at large for their electrical in the 2011 census throughout the Lower Mainland.
Yeah, we should get a...
That'll be ready here in
Which is your piece?
Yes. Police have also suggested that.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Do you mind doing the mic?
Yes. But how can we?
I personally don't see it myself.
This is a From here on, they'll be inside the Sistine Chapel.
Okay, so, and is that usable?
Thanks for joining us.
Potential options are being proposed.
All right.
Finally, on the 6 p.m. newscast of March 13th, 2013, Global BC, sister station to the newly launched BC One, aired a report detailing the work that has been going on behind the scenes to get the new channel off the ground. Here now is a look behind the scenes at the launch of Global News, BC One.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Sonia Sunger and here are your BC One top stories.
How does Global BC get ready to launch a new 24-hour station? Work.
non-stop.
The most expensive parking in downtown Vancouver.
Around the clock.
What do you think of the new talk show hosts?
It's reminiscent of Garth and
Wayne's World. That's exactly where I was going to go with that. Actually, party on.
You get the behind-the-scenes crew to sit in as hosts while crew work behind the scenes.
Hi, I'm online producer Amy Judd, and this is Trending.
And then you rehearse.
That's how we do it.
Rehearse.
That went fast.
And rehearse some more.
Whistler's search and rescue team is warning.
Oh, that's not going to work.
Okay.
There you go. You got it.
You build sets for the 2 new talk shows, install the desks, and tweet it all out.
What are you doing?
Tweeting. We're going to make sure that we promote this all over social media.
We scoured the country to hire the best in the business.
I'm Scott. Yeah. My last name's Money, just like dollars and cents.
My name's Jeff Stamp, and I am the producer of Top Story for BC One.
I'm Aidan Buckley, and I'm a producer on Jill Show on AMBC.
Wow, we've added more than 24 new faces to our news operation, so you're going to see some new faces on BC One, but it's also part of the global BC newsroom, so those familiar faces that you know and trust will also be taking part in the new channel to bring news 24/7 to BC.
Chris Galis is stepping in to host the first couple of nights of BC One's 7 p.m. talk show, Top Story.
That's the way it's going to be at the start anyway. So we got
how to go today.
It's getting worse, actually. So it's gotten worse before it gets better. I think it's just ironing out the kinks.
It's not all fun and frivolity. There is still a lot of work to do.
Now I can hear you. Yes. Yay! We can communicate.
It's going. Lots of little things still we have to do. Lots of niggly things. Some troubleshooting. Some fine-tuning. Some, oh my God, we still have a lot of stuff to do.
And that's the point.
But with just a few hours to launch, Global BC and the brand new BC One, which airs on Shaw Channel 21 in Vancouver, Channel 111 in the rest of BC, is ready to go, right?
So we've been locked out of the studio. 4 minutes to air, and the door's locked.